One lottery winner won $30 million. 3 years later, he was dead, buried behind a stranger's house. And the woman he'd trusted with his fortune was convicted of his murder. And he's not even the most shocking winner on this list. These are 9 lottery winners who lost their fortunes, their families, and in some cases, their lives, after winning millions. And in almost every case, the damage wasn't done by what they did with the money months later. It was what they failed to do in the first few days, while everyone around them already knew exactly how much they had. 9. The charitable bankruptcy. Janet Lee won $18 million in the South Carolina lottery in 1993. Within a few years, she'd given away millions to her church, to political campaigns, to a university library that still bears her name today. Nobody stepped in to say, slow down. By 2001, Janet Lee filed for bankruptcy. Court filings listed her remaining assets at around $700 against debts in the millions. She never protected a single dollar for herself, but her downfall took years. The next one happened almost overnight, and it wasn't even her decision. 8. The predatory loan. Suzanne Mullins won $4.2 million in the Virginia lottery in 1993, paid out in annual installments over years, a common structure at the time. A company offered her a lump sum loan against those future payments so she could get cash sooner instead of waiting. The catch was buried in the fine print, an interest rate steep enough that she later sued, arguing she'd been misled about how much of her own winnings she was signing away just to access it early. She won her jackpot fair and square. She lost a real chunk of it to a contract. She says she never fully understood, sitting across from someone whose job was to make sure she didn't ask the right questions. But the next winner didn't lose her money to a stranger at all. She lost it to her own silence. 7. The hidden winnings. Denise Rossi won $1.3 million in the California lottery in 1996. 11 days later, she filed for divorce from her husband of over 25 years, and never mentioned the win to him or to the court. California is a community property state. Anything won during a marriage legally belongs to both spouses, regardless of whose name is on the ticket. Her ex-husband found out about the prize more than 2 years later, purely by accident. He sued. Because Rossi had deliberately concealed a marital asset from the court, the judge didn't just split the winnings. He awarded her ex-husband the entire $1.3 million. Every dollar, as a penalty for the concealment itself. Rossi didn't lose her jackpot to bad luck, a scam, or bad advice. She lost all of it trying to make sure nobody found out she'd won at all. But one winner on this list didn't just lose his fortune. His own family tried to take his life. 6. The family and spending spiral. William Bud Post won $16.2 million in the Pennsylvania lottery in 1988. Within months, a private plane, a failed restaurant venture, cash handed to nearly anyone who asked him directly for it. His own brother was later convicted of hiring someone to try to have him killed for what remained of the estate, a plot investigators say was motivated entirely by inheritance money that hadn't even been spent yet. Post filed for bankruptcy within years, reportedly deeper in debt than before he ever won a single dollar. Financial advisors call it the relative flood. Family requests arriving before any structure exists to say no. Post had none in place, and by the time he wanted one, both the money and the family around it were already gone. But Post's mistakes played out in front of people who knew him. The next winner trusted a complete stranger with everything and paid with far more than money. 5. The advisor who killed him. Abraham Shakespeare won $30 million in the Florida lottery in 2006. Within a few years, he'd befriended a woman named Doris D.D. Moore, who presented herself as a writer working on his life story, then as a financial advisor, and who gradually took control of what remained of his fortune, including his house. In April 2009, he disappeared. Family members reported him missing. For 2 years, nobody could prove what had happened. In 2011, his body was found buried beneath a concrete slab behind a home connected to Moore. She was convicted of first-degree murder in 2012. One person, given sole control, with nobody else ever checking the paperwork. That's the whole pattern, playing out to its most extreme possible end. But even Shakespeare's fortune was public by his own choice. The next winner had his privacy taken by the very system that was supposed to protect it. 4. The privacy leak. Jack Whitaker won $314.9 million in West Virginia in 2002, at the time, the largest single-ticket jackpot in U.S. history. His name, his photo, and his hometown were public within days of the claim. Years of lawsuits followed, break-ins, and strangers showing up at his home and his hotel rooms asking for money, some of them refusing to leave until police were called. His fortune, combined with his existing wealth, was largely gone within a few years. Not from one bad decision, but from a life that never got the chance to stay private again. A handful of states let winners claim anonymously through a trust. West Virginia wasn't one of them, and nobody on Whitaker's side structured around that gap before his name went public. Years later, his own granddaughter, who'd been given large sums of cash regularly, died under circumstances her family has publicly linked to the pressures and exposure that came with the family's sudden wealth. But Whitaker's decline played out over years in the open, with lawyers involved the whole way. The next winner's life ended within a single day, and the case is still officially unsolved. 3. The unsolved case. Uruj Khan won $1 million on an Illinois scratch-off in 2012. He collected his lump sum payout at a ceremony with lottery officials. The next day he collapsed at home and was dead within hours. Doctors ruled it natural causes. The case was closed until a family member, reportedly unconvinced something so sudden could be a coincidence, pushed the medical examiner's office to run additional tests. Toxicology came back months later, showing lethal levels of cyanide in his system. The ruling was changed to homicide. To this day, no arrest has ever been made. There's no clean lesson to extract from this one. That's the point. Sudden public wealth can put a target on someone before they've had a single day to protect themselves, in ways no amount of planning can fully prevent. But even Khan's case was one sudden event. The next collapse took a decade, and there was never a single moment anyone could point to and call the turning point. 2. The slow collapse. David Lee Edwards won $27 million in the Kentucky Powerball in 2001. A mansion, a fleet of exotic cars, a decade of spending that assumed the money would simply never end. It ended, piece by piece, then all at once. He died in 2013, reportedly in poverty, in circumstances a world away from the day he walked out of the lottery office holding an oversized check. No trust, no advisor with authority to push back on a single purchase. Just spending for as long as there was money left to spend, and silence from everyone around him who could have said something sooner. But none of these 7 ever fully hit bottom the way our final winner did. 1. The total collapse. Billy Bob Harrell Jr. won $31 million in the Texas lottery in 1997. He quit his job at a home improvement store, bought multiple houses, cars for family members, and gave generously to his church and to strangers who simply asked him for help. Within about 2 years, most of the money was gone, spent, given away, or lost through decisions made without anyone in place to say no. Family relationships strained badly under the constant weight of requests. In interviews before his death, Harrell reportedly told people close to him that winning the jackpot was, in his words, the worst thing that ever happened to him. Less than 2 years after collecting his prize, Harrell died by suicide. Financial counselors still cite his case today as one of the clearest warnings of what sudden, unmanaged wealth can do to a person who was never given a real plan for handling it. 9 winners, 9 different mistakes. Almost none of them happened because of what they did with the money a year later. Almost all of them started in the first few days, before a trust existed, before a lawyer was hired, before anyone told them no. If you want to know exactly what to do in those first 48 hours instead, watch this video next.